So another common misconception, or not really misconception, just something people don't know is how much are closing costs? How much are we going to need for closing costs? And the simple answer is it depends where you go. There's some lenders out there some big national lenders out there that charge 1 or 2% of the purchase price plus all the other closing costs, plus their fees, plus the attorney fees, plus the state fees, etc. We don't, unless you choose to buy down points, which generally doesn't happen. We don't. So on a $250,000 loan amount, your closing costs all in will be about $3,000, give or take. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But, so the next question is, well, what if I don't have the $3,000 plus my down payment? And my suggestion would be, okay, focus first on the down payment, right? It's 0% for VA and USDA, it's 3% for conventional, 3.5% FHA. Whether it be 0 or 3.5%, focus first on that, because that has to come from you, or a family member, or a gift or something, but it has to come from your arena. The closing costs, on the other hand, can be paid by any one of three parties. They can be paid by you, of course. They can be paid by the seller. If it's negotiated that the seller contributes and pays your closing costs, that's actually a quite common thing that I see in contracts. We can work with your real estate agent and make sure that happens for you. And if that doesn't, but you love the home, but the seller says absolutely not paying closing costs, they can be paid by the lender. How are they paid by the lender? It's in the form of a higher interest rate. We go up on rate a little bit, you get the credit for the difference between par rate and that's your credit toward your closing costs, to pay those closing costs. So, yes, there's a catch, a gimme and a gotcha. As always, if we do that, the lender paid closing costs, you're actually paying them, but over 30 years with a slightly higher interest rate. Will you be in the home for 30 years? I don't know. It may make sense, it may not, but there are three options for getting closing costs paid. So don't let that hold you up from closing. But also, if you ever get a quote from a lender and your closing costs for a $300,000 loan are $8,000, let's talk, because that's too high. They're adding some fees that don't need to be added right there. I hope that makes sense. Again, focus first on the down payment. We can help with the closing costs in one of three different ways, etc. And if you want to get started toward owning a home, set an appointment below and let's talk and let's get started.